seeing a gameplay. I'm seeing it. I can show you gameplay. That is a great start. We're all sorted and on time. I'm unmuted in the game chat, which will quickly rectify. I got pinged literally in Discord the moment that happened, but great stuff in this lobby, and everyone nice and on time. This is great. Love this. Can we have more of this, please? Oh, absolutely beautiful. But it's going to be great to see what happens here around this circuit. First driver's out onto the circuit now, and well, it's exactly what we love to see. And well, we'll get some lovely data to aid all of your understanding of this qualifying session. But firstly, there's some drivers filtering out of the pit lane, beginning their all-important outlaps here. So important is the outlap around this sort of circuit. So it'd be great to see what some of these drivers are able to muster around here. And being told do not disturb as well on Discord, which is a great point that I did forget. So it always happens. Always forget something. It wouldn't be a competitive speed series stream if I didn't forget something of minor importance. But you see there, Williams for NLR and ET8 coming out very nicely already into this qualifying session. Do not bear any attention to Gustav there in second place in this session. Obviously, it says NLR. He does represent ET8 in this championship. He is just, well, he's having a bit of an identity crisis, possibly. But nonetheless, he is in fact representing ETA in this lobby, so do not do anything at all in terms of thinking NLR are fielding 3 drivers in this championship, because they are absolutely not doing anything of the sorts. But even if they were, they've got some brilliant drivers in tonight, plenty of good drivers in tonight, 18 drivers in the lobby currently, and 1 driver has already began a flying lap. That's Felix 1, who has come across the line for NLR, began his first flying lap of this, this amazing qualifying session that we're gonna have here, and it's just gonna be so much fun to see what can happen around this sort of circuit. Let's have a look at Lifebout here, who begins his first flying lap in this sector here, sector 1. It's where you're going to gain the most time versus your rivals. If you get a good sector 1, it'll set you up very nicely here for the rest of the flying lap, and beautifully handled here by the ETA as well, looking very lovely now as you run through into sector number 2, and you see, run that corner as much as you can, try to take as much and take as shallow of a line as humanly possible, and this hairpin, very crucial, and get right as much as possible. Try not to lock up into there, can be a bit of a challenging one not to lock up at, but looking very good so far is the ETA of Lifebout here. He's only got 1 other driver in front of him for a possible representative lap time, and you see here, Gustav in front here, gonna give his teammate a tow down this straight. The benefit of having a teammate here is, well, very much pronounced here, because now he will offer a healthy slipstream down the straight, will pull out of the way and allow his teammate to get up and ahead here very nicely, and well, it is gonna pay its dividends there in a couple of miles an hour, which will make a difference here as Felix 1 sets the initial benchmark time of 1:26.585, and Lifebout comes across the line at 1:26.109. Great lap, 1:26.109. Beautiful lap time for him. Sam here representing EPL there in third. Do not be put off by the WR in that man's name, because there's obviously quite a few drivers who, especially on PlayStation, having to pay to change that name. Very unfortunate, but at least we know what teams are assigned to what cars. Makes life a little bit easier, but nonetheless, very well handled from them. And CPI, a great start to their qualifying session, as can be said for Lifebout, who obviously leads us away at this moment in time. But there, I believe that was Answer there, going across the line and going only 6th place, but Boom there going up to 5th place for IRT, and Matt Zozo in 6th place. A beautiful lap time from him. We're going to get one of the RVLs who's on an invalidated lap time come across the line. It was a 1:27.3, so nothing too representative, nothing that would have put him anywhere good on this grid, but there we go. That is one of the DLX cars, finally ahead of other cars, which is interesting. That team did have a terrible and torrid time, their first race of the season. So unfortunately for them, wasn't a great start. But at least things are looking a little bit better for them going into this second round of the championship. And well, it's very important for them to get something good. Look at Gustav. I believe he's on a time lap here and he's got cars in his way, so he's not going to get anything out of this one. And he'll peel into the pit lane on that occasion. But a few more drivers up to the line. Gustav's there has taken a second outlap. Not something you see on the F1 game, but clearly thinking there's some tangible benefit to it. Might have just got a bit of a poor initial run, but most of the first runs now nearing the end happening here. And it's, wow, Lifeout, who obviously is on top with a 1:26.109. Very good starting lap time from him. Very good pace as things stand. And, well, he's certainly set the bar relatively high as now we progress through this qualifying session. ETA have been one of those teams that have been very, very good here. But I do wonder what this second preparation lap will do here for Guitons, for RVL, because it is something you just don't see in Formula 1. But obviously yellow flags will just fly in this session because of the nature of the circuit. You know, there's a lot of fast places, so if you're doing anything at not full speed, it will obviously wave those yellow flags that do not fit. Very few incidents happen here in qualifying sessions, and the timing is not worth setting. And coming into the pit lane, and well, based on where he was looking at those sector times, wasn't looking likely to get too much out of that one. But supposedly, EPL here with Belby here will be getting a good lap time on, well, comes to nothing. They go into the pit lane too. So first run's done. Only 12 drivers setting a time, and only really 11 of those somewhat representative. So it's going to be quite a guessing game as we head into these second runs. Got 10 minutes 40 on the clock here, and well, a few drivers already out on the pit lane. I believe that is Leo Aries here, who will be the first driver to begin these second runs, but for him, it will be his first run in this qualifying session. He's not hit the track up to this point in qualifying, so it's going to be very important for him to obviously take it as far as he can and get as much out of it. Well, he'll come, lag into the pit lane, so not a great time in terms of this session. Once again, decent coming a cropper for some of these drivers, but Nico will now begin a hot lap. I believe he's being engineered by the league's owner. I'm not fully sure on that. Can't say that for absolute definite, but absolutely one of these drivers that 62% volume. Can't hear me. Okay, that's fine. Hang on. That is perfectly fine. Give me 2 seconds. You should now be able to hear me a little bit better. Not sure. But here we go through these qualifying sessions. I'm really not sure what is going on. If you can't hear me, let me know again and I'll try and fix it. But Nico, I believe being engineered by the league's owner, and well, you'd hope that might bring him a little bit of luck in this qualifying session. But Nico now going through this second sector. Not too much to the second sector, but this corner here, spoon curve, such an important corner to get right up every single lap and really extract a lot of lap time. And if you get a good run out of it, you know, you might get a slipstream, you might get a tow from your teammate, especially if it's qualifying, and you're certainly going to get a lot of benefit if you get a good exit down here, because it's a very long run until you get into what is this final couple of corners here. That actually can be exploited quite a lot for pace and lap time, and well, round the final bend up to the line. It's second for Nico. One lap time from him and LDL. A great start for him in his qualifying session. Bearing in mind that he was not looking anywhere near that to begin with. So nicely done here and tackled around the circuit here. And well, the Suzuka circuit coming alive here in qualifying now as we get plenty more laps and runs underway here. And well, now Jordan going through, but coming off of that lap, deciding it's not worth setting his pace and clearly not looking very good. And Lifebout too, not getting much out of that, unfortunately, in his pursuit of a faster lap time, because he has invalidated on his run. So not many lap times coming out of this second part as Felix won has not been able to get anything out. He's going for another slower lap here. Karumi is probably the only driver at the moment in the top 10 who's actually not had a somewhat altered lap in terms of he's either not on an out lap or in lap, and well, or hasn't slowed down on his hot lap, and he'll get a tow from his teammate. Remember, Nico, this time last lap, he was getting a tow from Karimi. Well, now it's time to repay that favour. Ferrari in real life Formula 1, they're known for doing a slipstream down here, and now they'll do it in the virtual world too, and Karimi there nicely ahead here of his LDL teammate into the final couple of bends. That slipstream maximised to perfection. Up to the line, where does Karimi go? It is only a small improvement. He won't gain a place there out of that, but a small improvement helps his buffer to ninth place there, which is Alguado, who has got DLX into a top 10 as things stand, but that is a team that have been struggling so far this season. If they're able to keep it, that would be quite the achievement. But who knows? I'm really very, very interested to see what goes on. How is the audio, by the way, people in the live stream chat? Is it better? Is what I want to know. But Gustav, supposedly second fastest sector, probably gospel, because this game likes to give you fastest sectors like it's nobody's business, but a very nice tow from his teammate. Gonna help him plenty there. Up to the line, though, Gustav will come. And, well, very nicely. Second place is an ET8 1-2. Take a bow, ET8. What a start to their qualifying session here in the Suzuka circuit. But down to others to try and respond. And on the back foot here with one car, unfortunately, because Answer has really not had a great start to this qualifying session. Leo Aries coming up to the line now, currently at, well, coming round the final bend here. We've seen plenty of drag races in the past, and you think about Sebastian Vettel when he had a drag race to the line to get, I believe it's P5 on that particular day. Plenty of cars filtering through and beginning to come to the end of their qualifying session. I believe that was one of the CPIs there of Jordan, who's come up to the line. He's gone up to 5th place. So good lap time for CPI there with one of their cars. And certainly a good showing from them. And obviously CPI leading the championship as things stand. They're really, trying to get a good result out of this and see what they can get come the checkered flag of this race, because they have struggled a bit more as of late, especially with ET8 really being on fine form, and the same being said as well for IRT and NLR. All teams that have done very, very well in recent races, making the job of CPI to get this championship a little bit harder, but nonetheless, 18 drivers in this lobby. It's looking absolutely brilliant stuff here. Indian hasn't got a lap time on the board. He's beginning his first flying lap of true anger around here. And, well, with only a few minutes left on this clock, he has really got to drive it with some anger. Right. Keeping an eye on this lap time with Indian. Sorry, needed a bit of a drink and a bit of a respite. Being on your own, not always the most fun in the world, but nonetheless, still going to give you every bit of action. So glad to, get this, real final kind of couple of minutes underway here, because Indian obviously will begin that himself. I don't think he's going to set this lap time on the board. He's not had great pace through it, so he might just come into the pit lane, change the tyres ahead of these final run. In fact, will he run it up to the line? He will. So clearly a bit of confidence maybe being able to get round, but only goes 14th there. So DLX have got a car in the top 10. We saw them last time out. Both cars got lapped. One of them twice, I believe. Maybe both of them got lapped twice. So nonetheless, a great result and a great showing for one of their cars there, obviously in the house in this session. So not looking too bad at all for them. And looking better than they were last time out when we were at the Bahrain International Circuit. But Lifebout, he's the first driver on an out lap who is close to beginning a hot lap here. So going to be interesting to see what he has to say. But nonetheless, I am very keen to see what Life Out can do on this final flying lap. It's going to be really interesting because this Aston Martin and ETA have been looking so good as of late here, but he's not going to have a toe on this final flying run unless he's possibly trying to set something up. Oh, he'll be trying to set it up for later on in the lap. So has he got this to absolute perfection for when he comes and begins the end of this lap? Because if he's able to get a toe from his teammate, that could be really great for him. But there's a couple cars in the way, and you see there, that Alpine there on the near apex there of turn number 1 could throw the ET8 of Life Out off just a little bit. But this man is trying to set the bar ever higher here. And wow, if anyone can do it, he set the initial lap time that everyone's been trying to chase, and no one's been able to beat it yet. And now you'll see that Ferrari move out of the way. That, believe, was not Carini, that's Nico, I believe, there, who has just got that out of the way nicely there towards the end of Sector 1. Now into the hairpin here. Very tricky there. And on the exit, you see the rear end really stepping out there on the back of the ETA of Life Out there. Now towards the end. And now towards Spoon Curve, very nicely, got to take this corner very nicely, but is he really pushing this track to his absolute limits? That is the question. Or is he going to that a final run here? Well, he's now coming up to his teammate. This is where you'll really begin to understand what he's going for here. He's not pushing on this lap time, it doesn't seem, because otherwise he really would have tucked in to that car and gone for the slipstream. So he's clearly backed off of this particular lap, chosen to go for another possibly, or he's taking a gamble, going to come into the pit lane and call it quits in qualifying, but he will come around the final bend to start another lap. He's not improved on that one, but now it's a real task to try and improve, because now there's a lot of things that man has got to try and get right, because Karumi up to the line, he's improving by 2.5 tenths of a second there through sector number 2. He'll come up to the end of sector 3. Where can he go in this qualifying session? He will gain 2 tenths of a second, but there's a disqualification for Felix 1 there. Not sure what's happened there to the NLR, but plenty of places will be lost there, unfortunately for him. But keeping an eye on who's coming across the line now, because there's plenty of people about to begin their final flying runs or even finish their lap times. In fact, one of the Mercedes is coming across the line to begin their hot lap now. 8 seconds left on the clock, so they've only just been able to squeeze in to the end of the timing, the time lapse that we'll get here. But look at Answer, really not gaining much out of here for NLR. The other NLR disqualified in 18th place. Unfortunately for him, that is not great for them. But Corjo there in 17th place. So will be bottom of the pile of those who haven't been disqualified, which is very interesting. You don't see that very often. Answer, though, gains a few places there. Not bad there for him. And there's, well, you see there Thomas Leo there. Unfortunately, has no front wing, so won't be something that improvement him. But what can these two cars do? Because there is an Aston Martin. Well, Life Out will move out the way of his teammate and will spin there. What can Gustav R do, though? He wants to try and get pole position here. Can he get pole position here? ETA don't really need an improvement from either car at the moment, unless someone in behind improves. Gustav R does go to the top. 4 tenths improvement into the 125s. What a lap time from him. And now Nico will come around the final bend himself. And unfortunately, a big rear end step out there will mean he won't improve in this qualifying session. Small margins, though, meaning he doesn't improve. And McLaren won't improve either in this qualifying session. I believe that is it then, because Karimi doesn't improve either. So that is Gustav R on pole position. It's an ET8 1-2 grid penalties handed out to many, many drivers. And as a result, that does mean that we'll be getting a lobby restart. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's very interesting for the ET8. They've been such a good team. They should have been here from the start, undoubtedly. And I'm just really great to see ET8 really showing a strong championship fight here, and yeah, just great to see from that team. But we'll have all of the unpack from that qualifying session in a couple of moments time. But Gustav R on pole position for this race. Life in second there. Nico in third. Boom there, sorry, in fourth. McLaren in fifth. Jordan in sixth. Bell in seventh. Matt Zozo eighth. DLX getting a top 10 start there, courtesy of Aguado and Karumi there, rounding out the top 10 for LDL. Great showing there in qualifying for them. So great stuff to see and a great qualifying session. Let's take you back to, well, just me, no co-commentator, and we'll have obviously a Demolition Derby in a couple of moments. drunk. I have not got the game on, and there we go. It's lights out and away we go, and I was not prepared in the slightest, but here we are. It is time for the barrel down into turn number one. Gustav, great launch from him. Lifeout, good launch too, and there we see IRT battling away with LDL. That's Nico there, who was told not to bid it by his engineer, and wow, that is quite a lot of decent, quite a lot of moves. We've had an incident there towards the back. There's a big crash there. What has happened there? That is 4 cars involved in that. Karumi's out of this race. Plenty of tyres sheared off. Front wing's gone as well. Answer there, losing a front wing. No damage there to CPI Jordan or even Matt Zozo, who also was involved in that. But a car on the side of the track, well, on the track actually there, courtesy of Karumi. And look at that. That is Aguado in the DLX. DLX had the best qualifying they've ever had, and they've gone and thrown it away there because they've had an incident into turn number one. Aguado has lost his front wing and unfortunately won't get anything out of this. Indian 2, no front wing, and that's going to really pay its own negatives to his race, his strategy, and everything he would have wanted out of that one. But what has happened? Lap 1, turn 2, barely got this race underway by about 20 seconds, and an incident already in this race. Absolute scenes. You cannot write this sort of stuff, and no doubt going to be interesting to see if anyone comes into the pit lane as well. Plenty of things to think about, for these drivers at this stage in the race. We'll turn that telemetry off so I don't get absolutely brutally murdered. There's something on the track there. That's a bollard that someone has taken out. People into the pit lane. Well, you're certainly going to see the DLX cars into the pit lane, but both RVLs, that's bad for them actually, because there's going to be a double stack here. No, not both RVLs, sorry. Only one of them coming in, but plenty. About half of the field pitting here on lap number 1. And Answer, of all people, has stayed out. He has no front wing and a penalty, and he has stayed out on track. He's going to queue up behind the safety car here. Yeah, what? That is an interesting call. Surely it would have made more sense for him to have come into the pit lane as part of the rest of the Gagler cars that all came in. Everyone 10th and down has come out of the pit lane after pitting on lap number 1. Karumi out of this race from turn 1. Nico might not have binned it, but certainly his teammate has, and that is going to really hurt LDL in the championship because they're in a very close battle with a couple of teams, and it's not going to be great for them, losing a heap of points to them. Really wish I had a co-caster, to be fully honest. Yeah, not great being on my own, but nonetheless, gonna get this race underway with a restart, hopefully very, very soon. But I was gonna cut back to my camera so we could, have a little look, and kind of have a little bit of an intermission whilst we get this, race back underway properly. But everything seems to be going relatively smoothly. Obviously after that incident, now everyone queuing up behind the safety car, which is obviously a very important thing in terms of the strategies of these drivers. It does mean that if you're on the soft, maybe a little bit easier for you, as understandably that Williams with no front wing does come into the pit lane. I'm not sure why that was going to be a surprise to anyone in this race, but coming into the pit lane, changing those tyres. We'll go to the intermission screen. Why not? Keep an eye on the action, and I'll safety car does come back in. In fact, it is coming in on this particular lap here. So back to the gameplay we go. Gustav is going to lead us away on the safety car restart. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. And wow, this restart going to be important. And there we go, the restart is firmly underway, and a good restart for plenty of drivers in this field, no doubt about it. Gustav taken this restart very, very nicely. His teammate has followed suit, but look at these behind as well. These hard tyre runners, they're going to be trying to apply the pressure very, very nicely here, hopefully, over the next couple of laps here, because those soft will die off very quickly. No real moves here, obviously into turn number 1, but this is the opening lap of action there as Answer there gets ahead of Corjo there. But he's a man who you don't expect too much pace out of at the moment. But Aguado, who obviously lost his front wing, he's still in 9th place. He's not lost out here in the slightest. So plenty of positions gained and lost, but he's remained the same in this race as things stand. But Jordan here going to be looking to try and make a move here on Guitons ahead as we go down into the hairpin. A little tap on the rear throws the RVL off, and on the exit there is, well, CPI nearly getting ahead here of Guitons, but not able to make the move, unfortunately, on that particular occasion. But look at Indian behind as well. He's a man on a mission and on a bit of a charge himself. He looks like he's on the softball tyre, so he's going to have a bit more grip, a bit more pace, and, well, definitely more cornering potential than that CPI ahead there. So going to be a bit of a opportunity for him to try and gain in this race. And, well, Jordan getting ahead of Guitons now. Indian going to try and follow suit, no doubt. But side by side they run into the final corner ever so slightly, and Indian getting ahead of Guitons too. And very nicely done as Gustav sets the fast lap of the race as we're back under that all-important green flag running, and the soft tyres have absolutely blitzed away. 1.8 seconds, the gap between Boom and Lifebout here, and they've traded places, the top two, I believe, on that racing. But it's going to be interesting to see how that all remains come the checkered flag. Lap 5 of 27, very, very nice by plenty of these drivers, nicely handled as well from the likes of EPL with Bell here. Obviously, Sam all the way down in 14th, so plenty of work for him to do in this race. But NLR really firmly on the back foot here. CPI not having the greatest of days either, and EC8 currently obviously up in front, taking top points as things stand. As there, a beautiful dive there from Bell will take CPI out of the top 5 contention here, but side by side they'll run down towards Spoon Curve. Surely you don't try and hold it through there. Well, Bell thinking the better of that one, unfortunately, and Bell will fall in behind the LDL and keeps ahead of EPL for the time being. But that CPI maybe trying to make a move here on Nico for P4 in this race, and will do so very, very nicely and up into 4th place on that hard compound of tyres. Nico on a set of those halves too, so you know this is mostly just about unleashing the pace you want to unleash, and not necessarily about, you know, going full blast and blitzing it like these cars may well want to. As there we see a change for 3rd place in this race as CPI get up into 3rd place. They at one point were nearly overtaken by EPL. Now they've got up to 3rd, so nicely done from them. And now they're going to be looking to try and unleash their pace onto the circuit. And well, scary moment there as the game had a little decent moment, but nonetheless, still looking very, very good for them in this race. And well, going to be interesting to see how this race continues to evolve and progress here. And well, Bell now keeping very, very close to the back of Nico here. Surely no dive into the hairpin here, but possibly an overtake could happen, and plenty of overtakes probably will happen, and an overtake done into the hairpin. Well, an attempted one on the exit. What's going to happen here? Bell side by side with Nico here on the exit. Side by side they'll go towards Spoon Curve. Surely Bell will lose that place and won't be able to hold it this time. Tried it last time on the CPI, and well, the CPI then gained 3 places. Now down the inside there through Spoon Curve, not able to hold it. It's going to lose a place here, Bell. Possibly going to lose a place out here to Thomas Leo in behind, and Aguado, who's looking really good for DLX here. Remember last time out, they were last in the grid and finished last come the checkered flag. So very good to see that they've unleashed some real pace and potential onto this racetrack as Aguado gets up into 7th place here as well. And now he has got ahead of Thomas Leo and sets his sights surely on Bell here for 6th place in this race. A great start for DLX here in Suzuka. Much better than what they saw last time out when they took to the Bahrain International Circuit. Plumb last for both of them. With points to the top 15, it came to no avail for them, unfortunately, in this race. But look at the gap of 2 seconds. Doesn't seem like a lot until you see what it really is. And unfortunately for CPI, it does mean they've got no one to tow McKillaren along, and it does mean that, he's a lot more susceptible to those behind, but he's trying to break that 1 second window, it would appear, on Boom and Nico in behind. As plenty of drivers separated by very, very small margins as Jordan there goes for the overtake on Thomas Leo, but not able to hold it around there, and will possibly be able to pull alongside as we head down towards Spoon Curve, but thinks nothing of it on this occasion. But there, we now go down this next straight and into 130R. Surely there's a possibility for an overtake here. You will get the DRS for that main straight as well if you don't overtake too early. But as I have a little yawn to myself, Jordan, nicely done, overtakes and down the inside of Thomas Leo. Won't get the DRS for this straight, I don't believe. No, he won't. In fact, neither of them got the DRS there, but nicely done by him, and up into 8th place there for one CPI as the other now sits in 3rd place, and with Boom just 8 tenths behind, might be able to pull that 1 second window that he would dearly love to have in this race, as those two EC8 cars continue to look very nice out in front. But CPI gaining there with McKiller, who is looking very, very feisty on and handy on that set of hard tyres. He's broken the all-important 1 second window to Boom in behind, but might be wearing his tyres a lot more than he needs to. So possibly going to work to his disadvantage come the checkered flag. But who knows what these drivers are doing, what they're running, and what their strategy entails. But what you can say is that DLX, as I said, a much better start for them versus this time last race, because they were having an absolute torrid time from start to finish last time out. And they came home with nothing. They have a chance of coming home with something today, and that would be great for them. But as we're looking, it's looking very interesting as things stand in this race. Very, very interesting to see what is going off. But what is going on in this race? Well, plenty of moves going on, and plenty more moves to happen in this one. Nico falling under pressure here from Belbo and Aguado in behind. It's very interesting to see, how Nico approaches this sort of scenario. He's not got DRS to the car in front of McKiller, unfortunately, as McKiller looks to try and chase after that top two. The ET8 cars that obviously started on those soft tyres haven't changed. And, Nico, no need for the cars to overtake him. He's got off into the gravel and let them through nice and easily. So Bell gaining a place there, but now hasn't got a marker for where to possibly break or make those all-important, brake marker boards of the other cars in front of you. So might have made a little bit of a mistake into that hairpin. But Nico, biggest mistake of them all, losing plenty of places there, losing out to Belbo, Boom and Aguado, and falling off the DRS of them too. So it's a little bit more difficult for him in his race and his strategy as well, because he'll have a bit of dirt on those tyres, and he's going to be overtaken here nearly by CPI Jordan, who's obviously running 8th place in this race. Dearly would love to get up to 7th place, dive down the inside, attempted, but to no avail for him and his team on lap number 10 or 27. Heading on to lap 11 though for these cars. In fact, no, it was already lap 10 in this race, and now he would get the move done up into 7th place And nicely done. There's yellow flag there further behind. Not sure what that is. Probably that is for Kyojo, I believe, who has had yet another torrid race here, but can't, as he said, for his teammate. He's having a brilliant race here. And wow, looking great for him. But here we are, lap 10, and CPI have been able to gain in with Makilla into the back of these soft compound runners like maybe they might have wanted to, but Lifeout has nearly fallen out of the 1 second window of Gustav in this race. So could be a crucial point if he's able to get out of that 1 second window, but that's not working to the team's advantage necessarily in this race. You want to try and keep the cars close together as much as you can, and well, they seem to be doing a great job as things stand. As Iguano gets up into the top 5. That's the first time this team's running the top 5 ever. It was their first race last time out. They had just such a bad time of it, and well, their fortunes have definitely turned for the better in one half of the garage. For the other instance, still coming a cropper, but nonetheless, well, up into 5th place for one of them. Could be getting some good points onto the board here if they're able to keep this going to the checkered flag. But Matt Zozo up to 12th, not bad for him either in this race, as now Sam gets ahead of India, who looks to have had a bit of an incident there as he's been overtaken by Answer and Sam as well, and a 5-second time penalty. Speeding in the pit lane for Kyojo there, all the way down in 17th place. He's probably not having a brilliant time in the cockpit, probably a little bit annoyed, and someone who will be a little bit annoyed is going to be Lifebout, who's made a mistake. He's lost a few places, a bit hot-headed in the car possibly, because now he's down to 5th place. He might lose another place as well to boom in behind there. I saw that in the background. Thought it could have been a little bit of a decent moment from the game. It has thrown some people into the gravel on those little decent moments, but now this is really important because Gustav, he's running out on his own. He's got no one to help him and control his pace a little bit. He's just running on his lonesome. Surely Lifebout pits on this lap too, because the advantage he did want to have out in front, it's dissipated. Those softs are not going to be feeling great either at this point in the race. Lap 11 of 27. Surely he comes in for a change of tyres now. His teammate doesn't come in. What about him? Will he come in? He absolutely will. I did call that likely to happen. Will come in for a change of tyres. Very important to think about what change of tyres he'll go onto. Likely going to be a set of mediums for him, as there, I believe that's Leo Aries losing a few places down the straight. In fact, it looks like there was damage to his car, but doesn't appear to be, as Lifeout comes out at the back of the field. That's to be expected because he has, well, been the only driver to pit since that safety car that we had on lap number 1. That was when Karumi crashed and had his incident literally at turn 2. But very enjoying this race. If you're just joining and tuning in for the first time, looking great here. ETA very much is looking great in this race, and wow, just no pressure on one of the ET8 cars, and just crackling under it really didn't help him in this race. His fortunes not been great, but he's about what he does now. He's pitted earlier. Surely he's gonna get that benefit of the undercut. Might help him counteract the damage he will get from that unfortunate incident he's had. But Gustav very nicely out in the lead here as things stand, and well, Freddy, he doesn't have an incident. ETA still have a great chance in this race, and well, that cannot ever be understated. What a team they absolutely are. Indian and Keaton's now into the pit lane as well. 5-second time penalty being handed the way of Indian for speeding in the pit lane, so not great for him and VMV as they search more points in this championship. And well, they've only got one car in the race, and it's certainly looking more and more unlikely by the minute with that penalty coming a crop for him. But it's going to be interesting to see where everyone else filters out once they come into the pit lane, because look at the likes of Makilla and Bell in this race. You know, they sit second and third, and well, you know, they started on the hard tyres, didn't come into the pit lane, important to note, and neither did Gustav R, who's obviously on the soft compound tyres. And these guys on the hard compound, they'll be looking to go to a set of softs, no doubt about it, blast it all the way to the checkered flag. But Makilla not able to keep that 1 second window that he once held over the cars behind. And it really has meant it's a bit more difficult for him now to try and gain and reel in the back of these cars, or the car in front of him, and the pace in those halves is going to begin feeling a little worse and worse as the laps continue to progress. But there you look, as Bell battles with Aguado here in this race over third and fourth. And there you go, Gustav R into the pit lane from the lead of this race. That does mean Makilla will take the lead of this race. He hasn't had DRS pretty much since the start of this race anyway, so it won't matter too much to him. It's pretty much business as usual, just a place gained there. But where does Gustav R come out in all of this? So you'd certainly hope he'll come out ahead of his teammate. But where does his teammate filter out versus cars that he should be comfortably ahead of? And well, he'll be very close to his teammates there. So the undercut has worked wonders for him, because he'll be pretty much within a second of his teammate here. And then obviously his teammate was about 2.8 seconds out in front, ahead of Makilla. So he's negated the damage that he did to his own strategy by being on the hard, by being on that compound of tyres. But fortunately for him, he has managed to counteract that with that undercut strategy that he went for. But lap 14, we're over halfway distance in this race. Doesn't feel like it, but it's going to start to boil over very, very shortly now, as Aguado is really close to the back of Bell. Indian has retired. That's a safety car. That's a big shock in this race. I have no idea where Indian has crashed in relation to the track. In fact, we'll look with Cujo solely to find out. And wow, what is this guy doing? Why is he going so slow? But that is a bad crash there in that section. I'm not sure what's happened to cause that incident, but Makilla comes into the pit lane. There's no advantage to be had for VMB here. They've only got one car in this race, so it's not like they're trying to advantage the other, but that is massive in terms of ETH's chances of winning this race, because look at Gustav R. He's got to trundle around under that safety car Delta, and now, unfortunately for him, it just means that he's not going to be able to probably get back into this race lead. In fact, he's not going to be able to. He's only going to get back up into fourth. Him and his teammate, fourth and fifth. ETH were leading this race. They've lost a shed load of time due to that safety car timing. That has really hampered their chances of winning this race. But we saw the pace they had. They can replicate it on these tyres. They've got a solid chance still. But Makilla leads us away. Well, will lead us away once we get back under green flag running. We're currently under a safety car, speeding in the pit lane there for Curio. Once again, all the way down in 16th place. He's got a chance of getting a point here, though, because he's not been lapped. He will be able to catch to the back of this field and train. And, well, it looks like he'll be going into a set of soft compound tyres as well, which he can take to the end of this race. So if he's able to get that working nicely, then he will possibly be able to sneak a point to him and his team. And a lot of people who came into the pit lane here onto the soft compound tyres. In fact, I will show you the tyres everyone is on. And well, you can see there a few soft tyres for the bottom three, but the rest of the field on the medium tyres, minus Lifebout, who obviously pit a few laps earlier to go for a slightly different strategy, and as a result, he happens to be, you know, on the, well, you know, his different strategy might work to his benefit, and yeah, just very interesting for him in this race to see what is going on. But safety car conditions, Makilla obviously leading the way once we get this back under green flag running. But those softs for RVL and DLX could pay dividends. But obviously one of the DLX cars having a great race, a double points finish for them would be gold dust compared to what they had last time out in Bahrain. And well, if you want to know how that was going, yeah, it just didn't go their way in the slightest. But they have certainly picked up some good pace between then and now. And well, just 7 days on from that disappointment, they might be in the chance of a podium, which would be great for them. If they're able to translate that, then it would be brilliant, brilliant stuff. And just going to be great. Come the checkered flag of this race, but obviously safety car conditions. There's not too much to talk about. I'm going to literally have some of this Oasis that I'm craving. I'm craving this so bad. I can already sense I can already sense the message that that I've just literally had from my partner, who's left this Oasis at my house, said I could have it, and has just accused me of stealing it. I knew it was coming as well. I was literally drinking it, thinking something's gonna get said here. I could just see it coming, and I checked, and lo and behold, it is. Well, I'm very sorry for pinching your poor Oasis. What in the schlurp? Thank you for commenting on my drinking. But hopefully we'll get back under safety car conditions in another lap time, unless the safety car is going to peel itself in very, very late on this lap. In fact, it is going to peel itself in very, very late on in this lap. And yeah, I'm very excited for this safety car restart. I've hydrated myself thanks to my partner's Oasis that he left. And well, now we can look towards this safety car restart. And well, what an interesting plot line we now have towards the end of this race, because well, one team is down and out on this one. ETA have lost out hugely from this safety car. CPI have gained massively. They're leading this race, and it has EPL and DLX here in this race. And well, look at the restart here. The top three got away well, but ETA, courtesy of Gustav, not as good as they may have wanted. Already lost the 1 second window there slightly on Aguado, who obviously is running very, very well here, but he's got a lot of lag issues for himself. Definitely going to be handed some warnings for excessive lagging in this race, because plenty of drivers lag about the joint. Unfortunately for them, it really can hamper your race. If the cars around you just can't trust, they're going to be all too reliable and be exactly where it shows. But Boom is certainly going to be hoping that the car out in front of Lifebout is nice and reliable, because he's close to the back of, not able to make the move. But look at the back, that was Nico trying to make the move there on Jordan as they headed through the hairpin there. I believe that's turn, I'm not even sure what turn that is. I believe that's turn 11, if I'm correct. It is turn 11. I'm so good at my corner numbers. It's almost like I do this as a partial job. But nonetheless, Boom looking very, very close to the back of Lifebout here. We said that, you know, possibly an overtake into the hairpin. Could it be an overtake into the penultimate chicane? The final chicane, sorry. I'm not quite able to make it on that particular occasion, but look at Gustav. He's not been able to get to the back of these, of the top three, who have just really kind of almost sailed into the sunset a little bit, checked out of this race, and now Lifebout is going to have to, well, uncheck out of this race. He had been checking out earlier on when he was, you know, looking good for a 1-2, but now he's got some battling to do, and he's been overtaken by IRT of Boom here, and now IRT really trying to look and demote some points out of the favour of ETA here, who just have been so unstoppable in this championship. But now it seems to be not crumbling, but, you know, maybe just slightly falling apart a little bit for them, because their chance of getting a good result here has been definitely hampered by that safety cars. The top three pull away. They're all separated within DRS range, that top three, and then Gustav has not got DRS range. That rear wing won't open, won't give him a couple extra miles an hour, and it will hurt him and will cause us to have a secondary DRS train here, starting with him, and it just will make it all the more difficult for him in this race, so he needs to try and get within it now to try and get the benefits of that rear wing going open, but someone who dearly wishes they had that benefit that far under opening will be Felix 1. It's obviously within 0.2 of a second here of Lifeboat, who got overtaken just a couple of moments ago by Boom there, who obviously running in 5th place as things stand. And now, Felix 1 will try and will definitely be getting the overtake here on Lifeboat here, who just seems to be struggling on these hard compound tyres. It might come to him towards the end of this race, but at the moment, at the present moment in time, it is not working in the favour of Lifeboat here. Those hard tyres, they're struggling, and understandably so. He's been on them 7 laps. Those mediums, much, much fresher and much more grip to give and unleash onto that race circuit. So no surprise there that he's losing places. In fact, he's nearly lost a place here to Matt Zozo, and might even lose it into this hairpin here, turn number 11. One of the most difficult corners on this track, but plenty of difficult corners around here. Can he make the overtake there? He doesn't. And the car behind him, Sam, thinks about a possible overtake on him. And that could have been dangerous if that had happened and come to something, but for him, nothing on that particular occasion. But lap 19 of 27, 8 laps to go, 9 laps to go, sorry, in this race. And that is really good to see how much this race can change in an instant, in an absolute heartbeat. Gustav back up into the battle for this race win, and that's what he's going to be wanting come the checkered flag. He wants that race win is there. That's Curio, who obviously has once again had another incident there, and that's on the Exodus spoon, and for him it does mean that chance of getting points even the more slimmer, because he obviously has a time penalty to contend with as well. Oh, you know, lining up your points there with Guitox and Thomas Leo, both on that soft compound tyres, not able to make huge inroads. They got 10 more laps to try and get something out of this one, but out in front still, it is Makilla for CPI, followed by Bell and Aguado for DLX, and then Gustav who's managed to get back within that 1 second window ever so slightly. He needs to try and keep within it a little bit more consistently to get the real benefits and rewards from it, but it's not looking too bad. Obviously LDL with Nico down in the order as well. They're not going to be getting too many points out of this one, unfortunately, so that's a bit difficult for them, but nonetheless, a good race for plenty of teams here. But at the moment, CPI, they haven't taken a win in a couple of races, but it might be their time to shine once again here under, well, the very sunny circuit of Suzuka, which, you know, it's lovely to see that circuit bright as ever. And when things get underway around this sort of circuit, you really can get your way stuck into it. And, well, they are looking very, very good at the moment in time. Once it all comes to blow, right at the end, will it be CPI on top? It's not anyone's guess, really, but it's going to be great for them because, well, CPI haven't won. This is round 6. They had a podium last time out in Bahrain, but that's a lie. Actually, no, it's not. I just can't read. Turns out I can't read people. But yeah, they haven't won since round 6, so it would be great for them to win once again. Obviously, ETA, they won 3 times in this season since joining in round number 5. So could it be a 4th win for them? Well, certainly they're going to be trying with one here, as now they've got Guitox obviously in Gustav in the hunt here. Guitox obviously I don't know why I've said him, he's down the other end of this grid, unfortunately for him, but this battle for the lead will now consisting of a lot of cars. In fact, literally everyone from first all the way down to 15th is separated by less than a second. Everyone within DRS range of each other from 1st to 15th. That is quite something. You see them all filter and head up the hill there at a spoon curve. And well, that's quite the shocking camera angle, that one. And now Gustav will be looking to try and get himself up a place in this race. He's got within that 1 second window that he dearly wanted to be within. Now he's within it. It's his job to try and make something of it and get a place out the other end of that. But Nico, down to 14th in this race. What has happened to him and his pace? He's lost plenty of places. Obviously, at one point, he was 10th and running 11th, and he's lost places and really struggling in this race and being engineered by the owner of the league. It's a little bit disappointing, probably, for LDL to come out of this one not with something a little bit more. Probably going to be a bit difficult as well because, you know, they've had some good results in, you know, recent weeks. They got 20 points, 24 points last time out, courtesy of a fairly good result for them. So disappointing, but nonetheless, plenty of things to happen at the end of this race. Everyone's still separated by such fine margins. It's going to be great to see as I accidentally went to the wrong driver, and it shows you the man running on his lonesome in 60th place, 51 seconds off anyone else. He's just not having a great day. Is one DLX, but the other on the podium. Can't complain there. 6 laps to go, coming on to 5 laps to go in this race. And well, going to be a great day for CPI if things stay as they are. You know, double points finish and a win to add to their tally. It's going to make it all the more difficult and might even make it, well, impossible for some teams to get ahead and beat them in this championship because, well, they just have had that good of a start to this season but haven't won in a long while. So if they're able to take a win tonight, would be sensational for them. But CPI with Makilla looking great. But those behind of Belval and Aguado have been really fierce competition so far throughout this entire race. As I've noticed that CPI Jordan, he's lost a bit of pace and touch. All the rest of his field of time penalty going away of Nico, unfortunately, in this race. So that does mean he'll have 3 seconds added, and that'll put him 15th as things stand, because Guitons would gain based on those current time penalties allocated to the bottom few. But plenty of drivers managing to go through this race without warnings. And wow, absolute plaudits to them. What a difficult circuit to not get a warning out. I definitely could not. But some of these elevated curbs do certainly make it a little bit easier. But Aguado really close to the back of Bell here as we head through the final bend here. Could he think about an overtake here down this straight? And well, if they're able to, could be brilliant stuff for them. Well, Bell might be trying to think about the overtake for the race lead, but stays behind for the time being, knowing it's not worth fighting and sticking in behind that car for the time being. If EPL get a win here, would be great for them. They've really, you know, struggled a little bit in this championship. In fact, since joining, they've only had 1 podium. They haven't had a race win, so it'd be their 2nd podium of the season. And well, for DLX, it would be their 1st podium of the season too. And well, after 2 DSQs in round 1, certainly really interesting, you know, to see if they're able to continue getting some good results out of this one. But nonetheless, EPL and DLX on for good results here, and that would certainly be adding a lot of happiness within now those respective teams. And well, it's a difficult season for both teams up to this point, so not going to be well, a confidence boost will certainly be very useful to both teams. Aguado, though, continuing to stick close here to the back of Belval, but staying behind once again, and the battery running a little low. Noticing there on the back of that DLX car, possibly trying to break the DRS there to Gustav in behind to try and give himself a bit more of a buffer and cushion in this race, but the pace of those top 2 not quite able to hold it. But Belval really knowing that they can get this overtake done for the race lead, but choosing not to, knowing that that is the real overtake opportunity on this track, so sticking behind for 2 more laps will pay its dividends. As you head on to the final lap, begin it, and well, if you're able to get the overtake into turn 1, it's going to be a lot more difficult if you've got the battery for anyone else to overtake and, well, possibly ruin your day in the sunshine. So as things stand, keeping it nice and controlled is Balbar in this race. But look at how close the Haas and DLX of Aguado gets as you go through this section of track. And well, not looking too bad. Well, not looking terrible at all. Is Aguado in this race, because just what do you want from this man? They rocked up last time, first race of the season, and had an absolute shocker. This time, it could be a great result for them, really. Shows that maybe, it was just a fluke bad result in round 1, but possibly, who knows. But up to 12th there goes Thomas Leo, as he gets ahead there of Leo Aries, up into 12th place in this race as Nico pits for a change of tyres. Solar Soft, that's going to be for a fastest lap, as Jordan gets up to 8th place, as now Sam battles with Lifebelt there over 9th and 10th place in this race. We're on to the penultimate lap of this race. You wouldn't think it, because these drivers have not made any drastic moves or real attempts to get those big headline moves done, but Answer looking nicely in control of this race, and possibly think about the overtake here on Lifebelt, trying to get out the top 10, which would certainly be insult to injury to ETA after a poor result that could have certainly been a 1-2 nice and easily for them if they had circumstances allow it. But heading on to his final lap of action here around this circuit is Makilla, and with 2 cars close in behind Balbar and Aguado, this man could be about to lose a few places into 1, and well, could be really giving CPI a real challenge here, as now Balbar rounds the final bend of this lap, beginning the final lap of this race, and now Makilla has got a job to do to defend this place. But there you see the EPL pull out alongside into turn number 1. Side by side they go into turn number 1. Is there contact? There is contact. That is Makilla. They're losing 2 places. Aguado into 2nd place here. This could be a real change in the order here, as now you see the DLX getting up into 2nd place and EPL up into 1st place here. And that's going to almost definitely go to the steward's room there, because that could be a race changing move, a result changing move that really defines CPI in their championship, because leading the way as they are, that those few points lost could be all that they need to possibly lose out to another team come the end, because there is still the slitheryest of chances for other teams to try and challenge, but nonetheless, it's still looking great for EPL here. Out in front, Makilla though, battling with Aguado here, but shown the edge of this track here. And, well, not able to get that overtake done, but now they go down this secondary straight, and that's going to be an easy overtake there. No battery left on the DLX. A chance of a podium absolutely thwarted, but after 27 laps of hard and fair racing, ETA, they have tried to get another race win on the tally, but it's EPL who come across the line with Balbal to take a race win. Makilla in 2nd place there. DLX getting Aguado in there and 3rd, and Gustav not able to make that all-important podium that he would have wanted. Very disappointing for him, unfortunately, in this race, not able to get that result that he would have wanted. But what a race and what a result we've had out of this one. But Bell, a race win, and a brilliant one to take at that. What more can you ask for from today's race winner? EPL just you don't know what to expect from that team when they rock up to a race weekend. And well, they've certainly delivered a absolute bombshell of a result today. And well, that is their first race win of this season. Brilliantly done indeed. But there's going to be plenty of analysis, conversation, and, well, things to think about as we move towards the next round of this championship. But firstly, I just want to extend a massive thank you to, obviously, all of our partners and sponsors who allow and make this possible week in, week out. But your race winner there is Bell for EPL, who took their first ever race win of this season. And there you see that brilliant green helmet there around the green of Suzuka. And well, taken to the top step of that podium for the very first time, EPL. Congratulations to them, and just brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff from them. But just very interesting from that three. And well, I'll ask the top three for an interview and see if they join that all-important waiting room. But nonetheless, your top three taken to that all-important podium. And if you were wondering, your results as followed: Belbo taking the race win, Makila in second place, third going to Aguado, fourth place Gustav R, and his former teammate Felix won in fifth place, IRT with Boom in sixth place there, Matt Zozo seventh, CPI Jordan in eighth, Answer for NLR ninth, Lifebout really disappointing for him, went from second to 10th in this race. ETA not had a best of times here, but actually I believe one of the ETAs might have been bumped down the order and DNF'd right at the end, so it might be a bit of an interesting one, seeing what happened there. But Jordan, no, Sam's sorry there. Leo Aries, actually I've just realised why that looks funky. It's because I was looking for the name and not anything else. But no one has thrown themselves into the interview voice chat just yet. We'll see if it comes. we had around this circuit. And I have got an interview. Okay, there we go. I have got one right at the desk, and they're on PlayStation. So that's really annoying. Wow. Whoa, I love a PlayStation interview. Just brilliant. I will drag myself in. Wow. PlayStation Discord, it's brilliantly clapped, but what was not too clapped was your result there. Good, great stuff for CPI. It's been a while since we've seen CPI towards the top.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it was good to see. It was good, very encouraging. You know, you haven't won since round 6 in this championship. It's another podium. You know, you're beginning to really wind this championship towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you think you should have got that race win?
I mean, I played it kind of tactical. I already knew, of course, when I got into the race that we had a pretty big lead in the championship, and we were really fighting NLR really for the championship. So I know we didn't fight ET8 or El Plan, but of course, safety car helped me a lot to get in front. And after that, it was like pushing very hard. But then, of course, I want to win. But yeah, last straight, I mean, I had a lot more straight line speed than Belby, and he didn't really get too far ahead of me going into turn 1 on the last lap. So yeah, I was like, okay, I'm gonna risk it on the inside, and that was a bit too aggro for me. It was my mistake completely. So I hit him and then almost spun.
Yeah.
So luckily I could have kept that in the straight line. Then of course I saw P2 flashing, and I had still like 50. So I thought only chance I got is to get him on the run to Spoon, and then get the run on Belby out of Spoon. But yeah, I mean, I think you saw what happened with the guy. I mean, he left no space for me on the outside. I think he just took his line like I was not there at all. So yeah, I was forced off that, and then I had, of course, the run towards the last corner with a lot more ERS, got P2, and then I was like, okay, just get P2, and then Rydal started to go for a crazy launch. So yeah, I had to deal with that as well, but luckily I did, and then I went P2 off the line, and Jordan was P8, so I think if I did quick maths, we have the most points of every team, so that's of course very good for us as CPI. But of course, for my personally, I would have liked to win. Let's just say that.
Of course, yeah, of course. You know, we all want to win, especially in a world that is well, league racing. But you know, it's interesting to see. You know, that safety car really did benefit your strategy. You know, if the race hypothetically had gone the other direction, and well, we had that complete flip side, do you think you could have won the race still, or do you think it was kind of ET8's race up until that safety car?
I mean, the safety car timing was very good because I was literally about to box that lap anyway. So the timing was ideal. But yeah, of course, ET8 had it in the bag. I think Ryder would probably Lifebout, of course, had the hearts because he had to stop earlier because he had an incident. I saw in Degner 2. Yeah. So yeah, probably Ryan would have, how would you say it, tagged along Lifebout. So I don't think I would have caught up. But yeah, of course, you don't know. It's all in the past. I think I had good pace, but I don't know if I could have got them two up if they worked together a bit. So, but I mean P3, and now I was fighting for the win. So anyway, I was just trying for the team, and of course, the team has a good result in the end. So doesn't really matter. But I think it would have been a podium anyway. But yeah, I always like to do P1 if it is available, of course.
I mean, absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's one of those absolutely likely to be penalties and all sorts going to the stewards room. EPL, great time to see them at the top step. You know, obviously they've taken a podium in the past, but thank you very much for actually joining me for an interview. It's nice to actually get someone for an interview. I've gone so many races in the past when you've not got someone, so thank you very much for joining me, and thank you for giving us a little bit of insight into those kind of last couple of laps. But I'll let you head off and go and enjoy the P2. Might not be the podium, might not be the top step, might not be worth as much celebrating, but it's still good for the championship, so go and enjoy it.
Thank you very much. Thank you for commentating as well. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too. Wow, that does conclude what was our brilliant interview there with your second place driver there, Makilla. But as I said, heading next time to Las Vegas and then Brazil to round out this season. And what an end to the season it is going to be. But thank you very much for joining us for the thrills and spills that we've had around the Suzuka circuit. Next time we head to Las Vegas, the stars and stripes there of that beautiful circuit. You know, it might not be everyone's favourite, but it does have overtaking opportunity, it does have walls, and it will certainly have some drama. But until then, when we head to the strip that is Las Vegas, until then, though, bye-bye.